well-being is very important. It will affect their performance. And the worst thing you can do is even if people feel they have to show up when they're not well, that's even worse than absenteeism, because people showing up when they're not well and working, they may make mistakes. If they don't feel confident enough to tell you they made a mistake, you may find out when it's too late. If they don't feel supported or appreciated, they may affect your reputation. So it is important for a member of your staff to feel supported. Well-being. Burnout has always been something that interested me, always. As someone who worked at a company for 15 years, I did go through burnout personally. So, and then I gave a name to it. When I read about it on the internet, I realized that, prolonged stress, which I didn't manage well, led to burnout. And there are three main symptoms of burnout, which we're going to talk about in the program. And it was very important for me to see, okay, how can I help myself? What caused this? What can the company do proactively to prevent this? So, what stresses trigger this? It's not just the responsibility of the company. It's also, I don't like saying, putting all the responsibility on the individual, but in the sense it's good to be able to know how to help yourself. It makes you feel it makes you become stronger, it makes you recognize signs when you're not feeling well, and you know when to ask for help and when to look after yourself, basically. So I think it's a joint responsibility of the company and of the individual. I know many people who have been through stress or burnout at work, and people I've worked with now as a coach or as a trainer. And I think that in many ways, at least burnout can be prevented. Stress is very natural. It's going to happen in life, especially when you're under a lot of pressure. It's going to come and go. So the purpose of this program is to give people tools to manage their stress. But ultimately, it's for people who manage teams, so they can recognize stress in their team members. And so they can recognize the stress before it leads to burnout. They can talk to them, they can help them. It's also for employers and HR departments, so they can see what measures they can take proactively, again, to prevent elongated stress, which may lead to burnout, because ultimately it costs the company a lot. It reduces the productivity, reduces motivation, it may lead to high turnover, people leaving, it may lead to people not speaking badly about your company, so it can lead to bad reputation. Especially in Cyprus, it's a very small country, so that's an issue. And I think ultimately, because you're dealing with people, it's nice for someone who goes to work to know that if they're not well, it's not something to be ashamed of, to be able to talk to their manager about it. So, and besides that, the extended cost of not managing your stress and going through burnout is that it affects your personal life as well. Because, we're people and we're going to go home, and maybe we live with people, maybe we have responsibility for others. So I think it's a huge issue. And it would help to educate people on stress, on their triggers, on their stressors, on what they can do about it, how they can talk about it, how they can help themselves, and for others who recognize it in others, how to help the person opposite them. So to reach burnout, usually you're going through stress for a long time that hasn't been managed, properly. When you reach the point of burnout, you reach a point of feeling exhausted physically and mentally, and it won't go away just by taking a few days off. It's deeper than that. You also lose your motivation. You may become a bit cynical about work. So you don't have that passion you used to have about what you're doing. You may doubt your importance as an individual in this company or in this role, and you just do the minimum. And also you feel that you're not as productive and efficient as you used to be. You personally feel it. So say a manager or a team leader, if they notice something, a change in someone's behavior or in the quality of their work, or if they used to be any kind of change, if you see that they're not happy anymore, they used to greet you, they don't greet you the way they used to. They don't smile anymore if they used to smile. You see a change in their behavior. So not everybody smiles when they go to work, but some people, if they used to smile and they stop, then maybe something's up, you know? If the quality of the work has mistakes that in the past they usually didn't have so many mistakes, that's an issue as well. If you see that they're resistant, they're not open to taking on more work, it's not necessarily burnout, but it's stress. You know, it's like, please, I can't. Why? So you talk to them. So usually you have a conversation to see what the problem is. So why are they feeling overwhelmed? Do they feel like they have too much to handle? Do they need help? Is it something they don't know how to do? Do they have a problem with prioritizing? Maybe they're not sure what's important anymore. Yesterday this was urgent, today this is urgent. What does that mean? Can I leave this behind? Does the deadline I had yesterday still apply? So the team leader needs to be able to notice a few things, be approachable, so the other person will open up, and be willing to help the other person with practical tips handle their workload. And if there's something more, if they need psychological support, then that ideally that could be something that HR could help them with, or give them some support. Because it's not always to do with just practical tips, but if it's something deeper than that, then maybe they can help them and give them the name of some expert they have that could help them. This program is specifically for people who are responsible for others, okay? So whether you're a team leader, a manager, someone who manages a project and you work very closely with people for a long time, maybe you teach students or something. And so it has to do anybody who works with people and these people are under their responsibility. And also HR people, because HR, we want them to be able to have practices in place that will help managers and their teams manage stress, recognize stress, take action on time. So I'd say it's anybody that has the responsibility of others. It could be employers, HR people, team leaders, managers, project managers. If a manager notices that someone is showing signs of stress, they maybe, another thing that sign may be that they're overreacting suddenly. They raise their voice, or they get very stressed, or they get upset very easily. The manager could talk to them one-to-one. The point is to make it a very safe environment, psychologically safe, and we're going to talk about that, psychological safety. Where the person feels it's okay to open up and they won't be punished because of it, or they won't be blacklisted or seen differently. So it's important that the manager is there to help somebody because they see that somebody's performance is falling or their behavior is changing, they're not well, and they talk to them to see what the problem is. Is it something that I as a manager can fix? Is it because I've delegated too much? Is it because they're going through something at home and it's a difficult period and maybe I should adjust the workload accordingly for a period of time? And how will I manage that with the rest of the team so it doesn't look like favoritism, for example? So it may sound like extra work for the manager to do, but I think ultimately it's necessary because they will have further problems down the lane. And somebody who feels supported will pay you dividends. They will give it back to you. They will appreciate that someone took the time to talk to them and to help them. So in this training program, we're going to cover the different signs of stress, physical, psychological, behavioral. We're going to see the common stresses in the workplace. So maybe not having clear instructions on what I'm supposed to do, maybe have too much of a workload and not being able to manage it, maybe not feeling that I'm qualified enough to do this, whatever. We're going to see, maybe it's problems with other colleagues. So we're going to identify the different stresses that can take place, and we're going to then talk about what the employer, the manager, the team leader, HR can do, each one, in order to help their staff. So it can be proactively, before anything takes place, when you identify something. And we're also going to talk about why it's so important, because, for some, maybe it just looks like, this sounds very nice and kind and, but it's not business. It is. I mean, ultimately you're dealing with people who have emotions, who have limits, who have pressure, who have other responsibilities as well. So well-being is very important. It will affect their performance. And the worst thing you can do is, even if people feel they have to show up when they're not well, that's even worse than absenteeism. because people showing up when they're not well and working, they may make mistakes. If they don't feel confident enough to tell you they made a mistake, you may find out when it's too late. They may, if they don't feel supported or appreciated, they may affect your reputation. So it is important for a member of your staff to feel supported. So in this program,